Hello, this is my culminating project, which is just an extension of the first vlog we've ever done in this class, which is the Civil Disobedience and Dr. MLK Jr. vlog. And basically, in this video, I'm just going to talk about things that I could have added in that vlog that I created, whether it was more information, more illustration, or anything like that, anything that could have easily been added to that first vlog. And let's get to it. One of the main things in that vlog that I talked about was two quotes, and the first one goes like this: "A minority is powerless while it confirms to the majority." And the second quote is, "Let's hit them where it hurts their pockets. Let's boycott." Now, in that video, at first I did not actually know how these quotes were the same. I knew they were similar to a certain extent when I heard them in class, but it took me a while to understand the similarities in both of these quotes, because as I was thinking about it, I was seeing the similarities, but I was seeing the differences, and so I was kind of weighing it and honestly just deciding whether I wanted to use it or not. And so now that I have finished that assignment, and now that we're doing this, and now that I've had a long time to think about it, and even before I started recording this today, I was thinking about it. Here are some things that I could have added to it. So here's this image. Okay, now I want you to analyze this picture and just look at it and take in any information you can just by looking at this illustration while I explain these two quotes again. "A minority is powerless while it confirms to the majority." What I thought when I first heard that was a large group of people cannot take over a smaller group of people if they don't have the mental capacity to. It doesn't matter if they have the numbers. If they mentally aren't able to, if they don't have the will or strength, they cannot take over a smaller group of people. In fact, I mean, you could compare it to the Spartans. I don't remember who they fought, but when they fought them, they were easily outnumbered, but they came out victorious. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember that correctly, even with the smaller numbers, they came out victorious because they had the mental capacity to, they had the mental strength to, they had the will to, they had the strategic ideas, they had the skills, the tactics, etc. Now let's get into the other quote. "Let's hit them where it hurts their pockets. Let's boycott." When I hear that, I hear and see and visualize a group of people who already know what to do. They're not going to put energy into something they know isn't going to get them far. They already know what to do. There's things bigger than just how they feel, when some businesses do certain things that you may not like, or a large amount of people may not like, you get angry, you get upset, you may talk bad about them on social media that may do literally nothing to them. They're still getting money, etc., and things like that. But when you boycott, you do so much more damage. And so when I hear this, I hear people who already know what to do and what not to do. And so that's what that is at the base level. And that's why I couldn't compare the two, because it felt really different. But when I thought about it more and I looked past the base level of explanation for these two quotes, it's more than what I just said. "A minority is powerless while it confirms to the majority, and let's hit them where it hurts their pockets. Let's boycott." When you think about it more, these two quotes are just explaining things that have to be done. That's it. Things that have to be done. At the base, they're different. But when you go into it, they're more similar. The minority, which is the bigger group of people, already knows what has to be done to take over the majority, which oftentimes is a smaller group of people, but because of their mental capacity, they're strong enough to take over the minority, which is a bigger group of people. But oftentimes the minority already knows what to do. They already know what has to be done. And so this quote can be seen as somewhat of a reminder. And let's hit them where it hurts their pockets. Let's boycott. That's already, it's pretty self-explanatory. They already know what has to be done as well. So that's what made me compare these two and explain that they were similar, because it talks about a problem, and in the quote itself, it's already given the solution. Both of these groups of people already know what has to be done. Now I'm going to talk about this image that I have here and how it relates to it. You see black, you see white, you see despair, sadness, anger, loss of self, and you see happiness, trees, green, two people, peace. That's what you can see both of these images for. And you see that the peaceful side is with the white and the sad side or anger, despair is with the black. But I wanted to have fun with it, so I put the white letters on the black side and the black letters on the white side and changed up the fonts as well. And basically, at a base level, this looks different, right? Black, white, different, despair, anger, anxiety, peace, happiness, joy, all different at the base level. But it's really not, honestly. Black and white are two colors of the same coin. Oftentimes throughout life, white is shown to us to be peaceful and graceful, and black is supposed to be anger, despair, sadness, and things like that. But honestly, they're the same. They're both blank colors that could take you anywhere on the drawing board. Honestly, if you had a blackboard, you would use white to create a more, how do I say this, image that's out there, that pops out, that speaks. And if you were using a whiteboard, you would use black, or depending on the board, any other color to create an image that speaks out. But the point is, at the base level, all of this looks the same, but even the emotions that I'm presenting in both of these pictures are the same. They may not be the same at base level, but when you look into it, when you're sad, you're angry, you're falling into despair, depression, you're expected to stay down, lie in bed, do nothing. That's oftentimes what's shown to us. And when you're happy, joyful, graceful, you're expected to be up and, just be active. There's nothing pulling you down. You're happy, so of course you're active. You're going through life, right? But honestly, these emotions, when looked further into, could be comparable, could be the same. Even, let's say you are happy, let's say you're graceful, let's say you're joyful, let's say all of that is true. It all could be fake, or it could be true. But even so, it doesn't mean you don't experience sadness or depression or anxiety or anything like that. But you could be telling yourself every day that you're happy to constantly push yourself, right? Now let's look at this. Let's look at sadness, anger, and despair. You could be experiencing those every day, right? But that could also be a motivator for you to push you to do things. So basically what I'm saying is both of these emotions can easily be used as a force or a way to get up, a way to do something, a way to take you to your next step, your next action, whatever comes next. You're at home, you're not doing anything. Let's say you're happy, right? You're happy. I'm gonna go to the gym. Okay. Let's say you're sad, you're angry. Go to the gym, because the whole point is emotions are just powerful forces, and they don't differ from each other too much. The big difference in emotions is how people go about it. If you're happy, you go exercise. If you're sad, you go exercise. The emotions are different, but how you use it is what really makes it different. I could give you a sad person and a happy person, and both of these people could be excellent in any reign of human endeavor because of the way they use it. Even though you would expect the person who's sad and depressed to do nothing, right? But because of the way they use it, it brings the similarities within these emotions. And so that's the whole explanation behind my image, the black and white, the emotions here, the font I use, the lettering, and everything. My conclusion is not oftentimes, but by definition, all these emotions are different. Yes, of course. And at base, when you feel these emotions, they all start out different. If I'm happy, I'm happy. If I'm sad, I'm sad. It gives me different thoughts, But what really makes these emotions different is people's actions. when experiencing them. Because just think about this. Just a simulation, right? Let's say, okay, we lived in a world where when people got sad, depressed, or anything like that, they worked 50 times harder. And that's how the world's always been. Depression and sadness and things like that wouldn't really be considered a bad thing, would it? If it meant that this person would go out there and do excellent things and achieve outstanding things and work like never before, then you would compare it to happiness. Because when people are constantly happy and motivated, that's also things that they do.